Hi everyone, Howard from startupremarkable.com. How do we get more traffic to our website? That's what I'm going to be talking to Alex and Adam from FDC Studio about today. They're experts in SEO and they're going to share some of their secrets with us. Thanks for coming along, Alex.
Welcome, good to meet you.
And Alex reached out to me about a week or two ago, and I've also done an interview for their website. Now, I did it on the provision that I got some champagne and some furry kittens, but and they came through on them. So we have here some champagne, and even though we didn't get the furry kittens,
well, not so furry, but kittens.
Kittens nonetheless. So yeah.
Well, you can see how easily it can be bought. So there you go.
We're definitely gonna have fun with them later. Awesome. So I suppose just to kind of kick things off, for people who maybe aren't so familiar with SEO and stuff, like overall, just give it, like, how does somebody, they've just launched their site, just say they've just launched a blog or maybe a website where they're selling some stuff, how do you start getting more traffic to your site?
Well, that's a $64,000 question. I mean, what you have to be doing, you have to be providing something which people actually want. Now, there's lots of ways of finding that out. I know you use kind of gut instinct and you kind of know instinctively what people want, but there's lots of tools out there to find out what people are actually searching for. And the glorious thing about SEO, there's no real guesswork involved. You get the information of what people want, you have the information of how people are actually finding you, where you're ranking, how people are interacting with your site, and of course you know at the back end how many people are actually buying off you as well, converting them into traffic. So to actually get the traffic, you actually need to be providing the kind of content which people want, and also make sure that content is getting out to them. So, spreading it through social media and things like that, and there is the element of email marketing for which a lot of people do. But just give people what they want, sort of thing.
Okay.
That's how you're going to get traffic. People are only come if they actually want to read or review what you've got to say.
Okay.
So that's the start.
And you mentioned tools.
Yes. Yeah.
So what tools should we be using?
Well, Google are ever so good at providing tools. There's the AdWords tool, keyword tool, which will tell you the search volumes for search queries which are made on any of the Google search engines, so the .com, the .co.uk for different regions. That's a great tool. They also provide webmaster tools. Bing do the same sort of thing.
Okay.
So making sure your site's registered with webmaster tools will give you a huge array of information, where you've got broken links, just crawl errors, just how many people actually finding your site. I mean, that's a great.
So talk us through how someone just started like, okay, the Google keyword tool, okay, that's like an external thing, but the webmaster tool I think is a little bit more. How do you set up like the webmaster?
Okay,
tool?
well, it's very, very simple. You first of all open a Google account and you sign up for Webmaster Tools.
Okay.
But to actually register your site with them, you need to basically put a file onto your server.
Sure.
So Google provide that file. You just download it and just put it into the top section of your server. Just a small HTML file. There's a couple of other ways, but this is the kind of simplest way.
Okay.
And that basically proves to Google that you own that website. And after that, they're fully willing to kind of sort of give you all that information, and also it allows you to upload sitemaps. So I don't know if you ever use sitemaps, but they are a great way of making sure all your content is indexed.
Okay.
Because the thing that most new websites suffer from is that Google doesn't know the web pages exist.
Okay.
So Google isn't like omnipotent. It doesn't know everything about the whole world. It sometimes seems that way, but it simply isn't. So when you're performing a search query, Google isn't going out to the World Wide Web in that instance and saying, you've looked for furry kittens. It isn't going to find all those websites about furry kittens in that instance. What it's doing, it's constantly sending out crawls and spiders.
Yes.
People kind of hear these words.
Yes.
And what it's basically doing is taking a snapshot of the internet at any particular time and placing pages on indexes. So if your pages don't appear in those indexes, you aren't going to then appear in the search results.
Right.
So making sure your entire website has been indexed by Google and by Bing.
And sitemaps help to do that?
Yeah, what sitemaps basically do is it sends a message to the search engine spiders when they come onto your website, and you're basically signpointing them and say, like, these are all my pages, please have a look at them, please index them, you know, and you're cutting out that long drag it takes for search engines to actually find all your websites.
And just very quickly on sitemaps before we move on, are there's standard plugins for, say, WordPress, for example, for a sitemap. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Google aren't trying to make this difficult. You know, it's all it is a file pointing in a direction, and it doesn't have to be complicated.
Cool. Okay, so we've got Google Analytics, Google Webmaster Tools, Google Keyword Tools. Any other tools, kind of ninja tools, like secret tips?
I personally use SEO Moz.
Okay.
They've got a range of toolbars. There's also SEO Quake. So SEO Quake, for example, is a free toolbar which sits on both the Firefox and Chrome browsers. I'm not sure if Internet Explorer. I mean, if you ever want a tip, just stop using Internet Explorer straight away. But that's a very handy tool, and it gives you some important metrics about your website. How many backlinks? It tells you how many links are coming back into a certain page, how many links are coming back into a domain. It gives you your toolbar rank, which is closely related to page rank, and a few other kind of nifty little things. SEO Mars provided a toolbar which can get some really in-depth information. You can find out how well optimized your pages are for particular keyword phrases. You can find out, I mean, the best way of using these tools really is you can find out what your competitors are doing as well. So you can find out some sort of competitive analysis. So, are you going to rank for those keyword phrases that you want, or do you need to sort of focus your attention somewhere else?
And SEO Mars, that's a premium that you'll have to pay for.
They do provide a lot of free tools. For free, just sign up, get an account. It doesn't cost anything at all for a lot of it. If you want the real in-depth stuff, you do need to sign up. But if you're being serious about SEO, it's well worth the look.
Sure.
Another place to look is SEO Book.
SEO Book.
Those guys have got a lot of free tools. They've got rank checkers and things like that. So again, free. You can pretty much do everything for free. What SEO Moz does is package them up very, very, very nicely.
All really good.
Kind of professional SEO.
That's great. Like SEO Quake and SEO Book. Heard of SEO Book, but I definitely haven't dipped into it, so I'll have to check those out.
Definitely.
Nice one. Okay, so we're using these cool tools now, and we see that our site is. It's only ranked like 154,000th in or for a keyword or whatever. It's certainly not, it's not on page 1 yet. What do we do to try to get it onto? What's the kind of the next step?
So there's 3 reasons why a page will rank. First of all, it's got to be relevant. So it has to be on topic. So again, if you're trying to rank for furry kittens, let's make sure we're talking about furry kittens on the actual web page itself, and that makes sure I have the title tags right and the URLs right and those sort of things. So relevancy, it's got to be popular. So by popularity.
So sorry, just before we move on, so just the title tag and the H1 tag. Is there any easy way someone who's just starting out who might not know how to do that? How can someone kind of fairly easy do that?
Actually add their title tags in, do you mean? Or
So maybe a plugin or something.
So on WordPress there's loads and loads of plugins that make this very, very easy. There's all-in-one SEO.
And that's free, isn't it?
That's a free plug.
That's the one I use on the site. It's really easy.
There's lots of different flavours. That's a particularly good one. If you're using something like Drupal, there will be plugins for that as well. Most content management systems have got plugins for those sort of things. If you're hard coding the site, there's loads of resources to tell you how to do this, but you would put it in the header section of your website. So,
sorry, I interrupted you there. So that was number 1. Number 2?
Number 2, a site's got to be popular. Now, how do you measure what is popular? What's popular, to you and I might be popular to the rest of the world. So Google, this is where Google have created such a superb search engine. They worked out how to work out if something's popular. And to do that, they basically count the amount of links pointing to a page.
Okay. Okay.
So
they're kind of called backlinks.
Backlinks, yeah, absolutely.
Them, yeah.
So the way to think of a backlink is if I link to your site, that's a bit of vote of confidence. Now, if you've got 10 votes of confidence, so 10 links, and I've got 5 links, you're going to rank above me in the searches. Now that's a very, very, very simplified way of looking at it, because not all links are built, are not all made equal. It's the same way. So if you had like a rash on your leg and you went around the office and you asked the 10 people in the office, do you think I need to get my leg chopped off with this rash? Do you think it's bad? And they all said no. But one doctor came along and said, yeah, you definitely need to get that sorted out. You're probably going to trust the opinion of that one doctor rather than the 10, layers around the office.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't hear that one.
So getting links from good locations is very, very, very important.
How do we do that?
Now, over the years, there have been ways of manipulating that kind of process. Of course, Google in particular and Bing, but Google mainly, are very, very hot at stopping you manipulating that kind of
stuff.
stuff.
So if we're not interested in manipulation, this is kind of called white hat stuff.
Absolutely,
Black hat being, of course, when you're trying to manipulate. If you're only interested in creating good white hat stuff that's going to last, how do we do it?
Well, it starts again with great content. So if you've got content which people want to link to, that's the best way of doing it. Now, of course, you need to also put that content in front of the people who are likely to actually do those links.
Okay.
Now, there's like a bit of an phrase of the linkerati. So there's a certain type of people who are going to link to your web page. Now, to do that, that's where social media is very, very good, because social media allows you to put in someone's face this bit of content.
Sure.
So if you're doing a newsletter, for example, in your business, and somebody has done something particularly good, or your company's done something particularly good, you should give that content to the people who are likely to want to share that and talk about it and blog about it. So, like for example, we've recently done some work with a local MP. So we get some great content with that, and then we're going to give that content and put it under the faces of the local Conservative club. They've got their own websites, and the East Midlands Business Secretary, and those sort of things. So what we're trying to do is get some really kind of interesting content about the industry and put it in front of people's, particularly like BBC journalists. So the great thing about the web is you can find out who's involved on the BBC website. Local reporters and that, and just say, have a look at this. Okay. And there's a good chance then they read that and go, oh yeah,
that's interesting. So I do a blog post. I'm just using the example of a blog now. It could be relevant to any business. But I do a blog post and I put it up on my blog, of course. And if I think it might be relevant to some other media sources, they're probably hungry for content. In fairness, do you recommend us kind of sending the content to them and saying, would you like to use this?
Well, that's a different way. I mean,
okay.
If you can have content on your own site, but you can't then put that content on someone else's site, because that's duplicate content.
Oh, and you won't get ranked.
Well, what Google would basically discount one version of that.
Okay.
So let's say you did a page and you put it out onto 10 of the pages, 10 of the websites on the web. Yeah. Now, if someone's googling that, Google aren't going to put your page number 1, their page number 2. They're not going to have the same 10 results, because that's not good for the user. So only one version of that is going to rank. Okay. So if you want to put content on other people's sites, do that by all means. And there's a lot of sort of resources out there which allow you to do that. Contacting webmasters to say, do you mind if I put a bit of interesting content on your site for you with a link back to me? So there's lots of opportunities to do that, but you don't do both, just do one.
Okay, so I have a story, right? Yeah. I put it on. I want to put a version of it on my site. Would I just change it a bit and then send it to the other people, or the original?
When I say send it, what I mean is actually send the link to it. So actually so using Twitter. So you've done a brilliant bit of content, right? And it's on topic and it's relevant and it's interesting. You think people are going to really enjoy it. Okay. So why not just tweet the person that you think might enjoy it and link back to it? Or have you checked out my latest blog post on such and such with the link back to your site, and they're going to read it, and what you hopefully then will find is that, oh yeah, I've never come across this guy before in my next blog post. So if you sent it to me, I'm going to write about this crazy guy who's trying to make $1 million in less than 3 years, and link to your site. So there's lots of different flavours of how you do this.
Okay, so this is different than of this thing called kind of like guest posting, I suppose, where you give a piece of content and give it to a different site. So this is actually writing your blog post and then just letting people know.
Yeah, spreading the word.
Okay.
Spreading the word.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can target that at specific people, or just spread it in general.
Okay. So how if I would worry if I did that and I did a blog post and started telling people about it. People, I don't know, like maybe some of them would kind of go, yeah, love it, and then some people wouldn't. Is there any more of a predictable way I can grow my backlinks to my site?
I know what you mean. A lot of this is kind of hit and hope, fingers crossed. That's people in, and I totally understand that. I mean, you can't. The only way of predictably growing your links is by doing it on sort of sites which just let you put any content.
Is there any value in that?
Well, this is the problem, because everyone has been doing it. And everyone's been doing it simply for the links and not really for the quality of that content. It means the sites which allow you to do that are generally very, very low value.
Right.
And they're the sort of sites which people don't want to read. Now, if I've got a web page that I'm trying to link to, and I put some rubbish old content out there just for a backlink, who's going to want to read that bit of content? No one does, because it's only been produced for links. Now, guest blogging is slightly different, because someone has their blog and they're proud of it and they want good content on there, and they're going to have a very good vetting process on the type of stuff which is getting on there. I mean, you wouldn't put any old rubbish on your site.
Of course not.
We certainly wouldn't put any old rubbish on ours. So it's that kind of editorial kind of input which defines what's going to be a good site and a bad site.
Sure. And like, for a prime example is that, like this interview now, I'll be putting a link to your site
absolutely,
on the bottom
yeah.
of it and stuff. Okay, so just before I move on from this, can you give us one tip then, if we wanted to grow the number of backlinks to our site from respected sites in a predictable way? If you had to recommend someone and they only had maybe about 20 minutes a day or maybe an hour a week to kind of do it, like, is there one or two, like maybe, is there any value in doing a good article on like Squidoo or HubSpot or something like that?
Those sort of things. Yeah, if you get, there are authoritative sites which you can get content onto, without a doubt, and you will start to learn how easy it is to get your type of niche content onto those sites.
Can you give us an example of your kind of favourite ones of those?
Oh, crikey bobs. I mean, the way we kind of operate is we kind of just want to get the best quality. What we're trying to go for is the big media outlets, so the BBC. I mean, if you can get links on the BBC, which is a hugely authoritative site, you're onto a massive winner. The ones that you mentioned, Squidoo Lens, they have been very, very popular for years and years. But because they're popular, they do tend to attract kind of mixed kind of bag of stuff.
Sure.
You're best off just concentrating on the actual content and just allow it to happen, because it will happen. Good content is spread, because it doesn't cost anything to spread. It doesn't cost you or my. And if I see something, I am going to retweet it. I am going to Facebook like it or whatever. So just concentrate on the content rather than
really. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So this is So you're concentrating more on your own site necessarily.
Absolutely. Concentrate. Yeah.
Cool. Now, so I've created a bit of content. Do I need to do anything to tell Google it's there? Because I've heard of something called pinging them about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
To be honest with you, I don't really know an awful lot
Yeah,
about it.
so it goes back to the indexation thing again. So, I mean, I've used the service Pingomatic a lot, which is very good.
And that's
it's
just Google Pingomatic.
Just yes, Google Pingomatic. Free, absolutely free. And basically, what you can also submit URLs, so web addresses to Google and Bing using Webmaster Tools.
Which would you recommend?
Well, if you've got a very good site which is being crawled regularly, you will find that content is being indexed very quickly.
Okay.
So if you've got a quality website, you will find that your new content should be crawled within a day or so anyway.
Okay.
Quite easily.
Okay.
Sometimes within hours.
So is there any need to?
There's less need if you've got a quality domain. Then there's not a huge amount of need to do it. If you haven't got a quality domain, then yes, you perhaps do, but you need to be sorting out other problems before you start worrying about your new blog post being indexed. You've obviously clearly got crawlability issues.
But if you did want to though, you'd sign for something like Pingomatic, which is free.
You'll just go to Pingomatic, put in the URL, and just click.
Boom,
done.
And
I mean, for example, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine has an events company. She's self-employed, starting out. Now she had a link. I mean, I found it was something like cancer research or a good domain because she'd done a charity thing for them. She had a link back. Now she wasn't ranking for her own business name.
Okay.
Sapphire Vance, she'll like me for that. She wasn't even ranking for her business name. So all I did was pinged that link that I found, pointed back to her site. The next day she was ranking for her own business name.
Okay.
So it's that kind of experience. I mean, her site has all sorts of problems, so she's that kind of example. It wasn't being crawled, they weren't finding the content. So, that in that instance, then I wasn't even pinging her website. I was pinging another page on someone else's website with that link back to them. You see, so it's kind of being a bit creative a little bit with the tools at your disposal.
Okay.
So it's Google then found that page, found that link from a very good domain, and obviously she got the benefit from it.
Fantastic. Okay, and lastly, before we finish off, just give me. Okay, so we've got our own website. We want to try and drive traffic to it. Take it we're putting good content out there.
Yeah.
What is the one thing you would recommend somebody who maybe only has an hour a week to spend on SEO? Is there kind of like any kind of ninja tricks you might you would say is after content is probably the best way to spend that hour to get good content?
I mean, are we presuming that they've done the title tags and stuff like that?
Yeah, let's say they've done the on-page stuff and they're wanting to like build some kind of authority for the site.
Well, if they're trying to do that, I mean, one method they could do is just they need to get in contact with. The internet isn't about people sitting in closed rooms and behind their computer and just hoping the will is going to come to them. They've got to get out to the world. Okay. So it's again going back to spreading content. But if I link to you, if I've done a blog post and I've linked to you, and then I tap you on the shoulder and say, you know what, Howard, just read this post. I've linked to you. Thumbs up to you. In 2 months' time, 3 months' time, you're going to probably repay me, or you're going to tell your friend about me, and they might link to me or something like that. So if you've only got an hour a week, use it to communicate with the community around you, your industry. Okay. They might be your rivals, but spend that time just connecting with them.
Oh, that's interesting.
Take the long-term approach.
So you would think it would be a better investment of an hour to build relationships?
Yes, absolutely.
Than to try and build backlinks with some kind of backlink strategy?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Because that is what the internet's about, and that's what the web's about. It's about people connecting to one another.
Cool.
And cool. I mean, so for the record, like today, you aren't paying me to be here, and I'm not paying you for this. I'm not paying you for this. Yeah, well, apart from the bribe, but there's no kind of monetary exchange going on here. Yeah. But we're building links and we're building relationships, and the people that follow you are going to probably just check out who I am, and the people who follow me are going to check out who you are. Mm-hmm. Now that isn't building backlinks. That's community, and that's what the web's about, and that's where people should invest their time, because businesses are about people. and it's those who drive, and it's those who make the decisions. So that's where people need to spend their time, which is kind of a weird way of thinking about it. And for business owners, it's kind of weird because there's nothing tangible in that, but the actual value is very, very important.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Alex, and Adam, who's sitting behind the camera there. So, if someone wants to check out more about you guys, where can we find you on the web?
Come to FTC Studio.
And that is at .com?
It's .co.uk, but of course, just Google FTC Studio.
FTC Studio.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure, and we're going to have a great time with our kittens and champagne now. Thanks, everybody. See you soon on startupremarkable.com.